Hey everyone, it's great to connect with you today. I wanted to chat about a book that really shifted my perspective, one that feels less like a traditional read and more like a backstage pass to the minds of some truly extraordinary people. The book I'm talking about is Tim Ferriss's Tribe of Mentors She. You know the feeling when you're at a crossroads, or just looking for some genuine wisdom to navigate life's messy moments? That's exactly where Tim found himself at 40, facing personal losses and big life questions, and instead of just wondering, he decided to do something brilliant. He essentially asked himself, what if I assembled a tribe of mentors to help me? And then, he did just that. He reached out to over 100 brilliant individuals ranging from athletes and artists to scientists and billionaires and asked them the very questions he wanted answered for himself. The genius here isn't just in getting answers, but in realizing that the stupidity of people comes from having an answer for everything. The wisdom of the novel comes from having a question for everything. So, this book at its heart is a masterclass in asking better questions. A skill that Tim believes is often all that stands between you and what you want. What kind of questions did he ask? Well, they were designed to be both simple and profound. Things like, what's the book you've given most as a gift? Or what's a purchase of $100 or less that positively impacted your life? These were the Scooby snacks, as Tim puts it, easy entry points for busy people before diving into the heavier stuff. And believe me, the heavy stuff delivered. One of the most powerful threads running through the book is the idea of failure as a hidden superpower. You see, we often look at successful people and think they've had this smooth, unblemished journey, but time and again, these mentors reveal that their biggest failures were precisely what set them up for later success. Take Salman Nosrat, the acclaimed chef and writer. She shared how bundling two opportunities to co-write cookbooks haunted her, making her think she'd never write her own. Yet, after 17 years she wrote the book she'd always dreamt of, Salt, Fat, Acid, Heat, which became a New York Times bestseller, or Patton Oswalt, the comedian, who shared that his favorite failure is every time I ever ate it on stage as a comedian, because I woke up the next day and the world hadn't ended. He realized it freed him to keep trying and getting better, suggesting that a catastrophic failure can be where you get your superpowers from. Jason Fry, co-founder of Basecamp, even recounted how a harsh email telling him his web design work sucked didn't make him angry but filled him with the fire to kick ass and prove the impression wrong. It's a powerful reminder that setbacks can be incredible fuel for growth. Another key takeaway from many of these brilliant minds is the importance of saying no. It sounds simple, right? But saying yes to everything that comes your way, every invitation, every distraction, can quickly drain your energy and focus. Tim Urban, the incredibly popular blogger behind Wait But Why, shared a fascinating concept he calls the epitaph test. He asks himself if he'd be happy if his epitaph had something to do with a particular project. If the answer is a clear no, it helps him define what not to do, effectively creating his no list from his yes list. Asha Tyler, the actor and director, even went to therapy to deal with codependent, a neurowiring issue that made her unable to tolerate the discomfort of others, and now she says no to almost everything out of guilt or obligation, reclaiming her energy and creative focus. It's about protecting your most valuable resource, your time and energy. And speaking of energy, it's fascinating how many of the interviewees talked about mindfulness and meditation. It's not just some spiritual practice, it's a tool for high performance and mental clarity. Richa Chetha, an actress, journals and meditates, finding that it helps her when she feels overwhelmed or unfocused, and she emphasizes that lucidity is meditation. Mike D from the Beastie Boys found transcendental meditation to be the biggest gift that keeps on giving, calling it a great reset that helped him navigate emotional turmoil and improve his relationships. Ray Dalio, the billionaire investor, also highlighted meditation as one of the best investments he ever made, saying he uses it when overwhelmed. It seems that taking time to quiet the mind is a common thread among those who achieve great things. The book is also full of these wonderfully unusual habits or absurd things that people love. It really humanizes these superheroes and reminds us that everyone has their quirks. Salman Nasrat, despite being a world-renowned chef, admits to loving American cheese for how it melts on a burger. Max Levchin, the co-founder of PayPal, enjoys genetic algorithm cooking, meticulously tweaking recipes like a genome. Patton Oswalt finds meditative dishwasher loading to be a way to think through problems. And perhaps my favorite, Annie Mist Orestether, a two-time fittest woman on earth CrossFit champion, loves watching cartoons and even goes to the movies to see them because they make her happy. These little insights remind you that normal people are just crazy people you don't know well enough. Another really cool concept is the gigantic billboard question. If you could have one gigantic billboard anywhere with anything on it, what would it say and why? The answers are incredibly revealing. Dana Von Teese, the burlesque star, would put, "You can be a juicy ripe peach and there will still be someone who doesn't like peaches," a perfect mantra for anyone in the public eye. Jersey Gregor, a four-time world weightlifting champion, would put, "Hard choices. Easy life, easy choices, hard life," emphasizing that anything truly meaningful requires significant effort. And Jocko Willing, the legendary Navy SEAL, proposes discipline equals freedom, arguing that true freedom in life, whether physical, financial, or temporal, comes directly from discipline. These aren't just clever phrases, they're distilled philosophies that these individuals live by. The book also delves into the worst advice these experts hear in their fields. For example, Brian Koppelman, co-creator of the show Billions, says almost all advice given to writers by supposed experts is wrong, especially when it focuses on marketing before writing, urging artists to follow their curiosity and obsessions instead. Steve Case, co-founder of AOL, warns against the Silicon Valley mantra of naivete as a competitive advantage in all industries, pointing out that in complex fields like healthcare, domain expertise is likely to be helpful, perhaps instrumental. It's a powerful counter-narrative to many popular beliefs. Ultimately, Tribe of Mentors isn't a passive read, it's a call to action. It's like a choose-your-own-adventure guide, where you're encouraged to skip liberally anything that doesn't immediately grab you, because what resonates with one person might be useless to another. Tim Ferriss himself emphasizes that he's an experimenter, not just an interviewer, and every lesson in the book has been vetted and applied in his own life, saving him millions of dollars and years of wasted effort. This book reminds us that while we might think our idols are superhuman, they're not. They're walking flaws who've maximized one or two strengths. And they succeed not because they have no weaknesses, but because they focus on developing their unique strengths. It's incredibly freeing to realize that no misstep can destroy you, which gives you the courage to experiment and improvise. So what should you do with this? My advice is to pick up this book, not just to read it, but to interact with it. See it as your own personal buffet of wisdom. Don't be afraid to highlight, scribble notes, or even just flip to a random page when you feel stuck, overwhelmed, or unfocused. As many of the mentors suggest doing, ask yourself, what would this look like if it were easy? Embrace your weird self, because no one is qualified to tell you how you experience the world. The world of 2040, as Yuval Noah Harari notes, will demand personal resilience and emotional intelligence. And this book is a fantastic training ground for exactly that. It's a book that truly changes with you, revealing new depths as your own life unfolds. It's a toolkit, a playbook, and an invitation to constantly ask better questions, learn from others' experiences, and ultimately become the author of your own life, ready to embrace the adventure ahead.